Hello, everyone, and welcome to Faith Unfiltered and Resilient podcast. Here we discuss many different things, and this podcast may be triggering to some viewers. Please be aware that each conversation is unique, and there may be discussions of sexual assaults, drug usage, and mental health episodes. Hey everybody, welcome to Faith Unfiltered and Resilient podcast. It is such a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and I thank you all for all the support and love. I'm just so glad that I can be there. I just want to help others not feel so alone. I just want to remind everybody that you can get through it, and whatever your situation looks like, it's whether it's your fault or not your fault, you have the ability to change and do differently. So I am feeling kind of off today. Really I've been feeling off for a long time now. Excuse me. I can just feel like I go in and out of feeling like who I feel like I'm gonna be or who I'm turning into, to some days I feel like my old self in a way. And then most of the time though, it's like I'm in this in between stage where I don't know who I am, where I'm going, or I don't know. It's so weird to explain, but I just been feeling very much in between. I'm shedding the old and I'm in the process of gaining the new, but I'm constantly evolving or constantly changing. At least where I'm at now. I know there's times where I've definitely been stuck doing the same thing over and over again. And maybe it seemed like that moment, but still God is always working behind closed doors and doing that stuff and figuring things out that we don't even know about. So I've just been feeling very weird, very the life is sucked out of me in a sense. I'm so tired and drained, even when I relax all weekend. And I think it's I'm not filling my cup up in the things that make me feel good, which is spending time with my family and friends and being vocal, advocating for people, and for myself, and just in general, what I know I've been called to do. And I just have been so tired in a sense of just I don't know, I just feel kind of stuck and icky, and I would really love to have some of my friends on the pod and just have conversations. It's definitely my next step. It's just everyone's so busy. I definitely want to get Star and Casey on, start off with, and just have some good conversations, because they are the people that I really have learned a lot from, and their perspectives and their support and love. So I would really like to have them on. Um, yeah. So things have just been really bleh. Whenever I say bleh, I think of the Hotel Transylvania. And I don't say bleh bleh bleh, but I've been feeling bleh. Yes, I definitely think that it's just been a very I think for a lot of people, I know a lot of my friends, it's we're just in the in between of shedding and this kind of chapter. We're paving our way, and I think it's this age as well, we're hitting. I'm 27, I'll be 28 in 5 months. It's cray. But school is just doing school. I keep up with that, and I just wrote a paper on family conflict that I would really I really would be really neat to read, actually. Um, it does a really good job at explaining of where I have found myself recently. So let me do that and then just go from there. Because it has really helped me. I don't feel so the hate that I had before from all my past and stuff. I feel very accepting the good with the bad. It's not this amazing I don't know. I just feel bleh. Does anyone else feeling that way? Because we're just in the trenches right now of like, I don't even know. It's so weird. And I really was like, I don't even want to like record a pod. Like I've been so used to like just coming home, cooking or making food. I don't always cook, and then going to lay down and stuff. I've been doing a lot better about going to bed earlier. And I'm like, babe, like this is something that like is on my soul and is really heavy that I know I need to do. So that is what I am wanting to do. I want to do this. I love helping others. I love advocating and I love sharing stuff with you guys. And there's been a lot more truths that I have, like different truths and like the same truth about my life and where I'm at. So I'm going to read my paper I just wrote. It is kind of long. Not really. It's only 6 pages. And it's double spaced, so we're good. But yeah. This episode won't be super long. I just, even though I didn't want to get on here, I knew I needed to. And like this is one thing that I really, one of my greatest attributes and characteristics that I love about myself is that I'm just authentic and this is what you get. And I really do my best to be unfiltered and like I just like I'm not always gonna be super happy and super pumped and guys look at all this. Like this is, I'm in the trenches of doing the shit that I don't want to do, but I know I need to, and building up that discipline. And it's not always gonna be hee hee ha ha, life is amazing. Life is, I'm very blessed, but I'm a human being with emotions and I'm learning not to follow with that. I'm learning not to follow with emotions because um no, I need to be disciplined spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, and not doing so much at once where I feel so overwhelmed, but just one step at a time. So, I recently wrote this paper on June 8th, and I knocked it out in 2 days. And so I'm a little disappointed because it could have been a lot better, but I did it to myself. I know my papers are due. And yeah. Okay, so I named it Faith Unfiltered and Resilient because this is that era I'm in, is being unfiltered, raw, and real. And so this talks a lot about everything I've touched base on, but just like where I'm at mentally. Like I'm not angry anymore. I'm not filled with hate anymore. I get angry, absolutely, but I'm learning where to place that. So here's my family history / analysis paper. Yeah. I was so like, great, I have to write a family history paper. And there was certain questions that I have to touch base on, like a rubric. So here goes. Faith Unfiltered and Resilient. Honestly, when I found out we were writing another paper where I had to describe my childhood, I was initially a little bummed and overwhelmed. See, my story of where I came from is despairing, sad, and filled with the struggle about trying to survive on my own. I endured abuse, neglect, and heartbreak that no person should ever have to go through. The hardest part is that it came from those meant to protect me. This past year, I have faced all of my childhood trauma with such a different perspective. From watching my son grow and heal my inner wounds to connecting spiritually with Christ and developing professionally, I know my story is not one of sadness and despair, but of resilience and change in the rawest and most realistic ways. So I will share where I came from and what has been the fuel that drives me, but then I will share who my true family is and those who have grounded me and helped me to see what I am truly capable of. 1 second. I need to take a drink. It's so weird, like reading it because it's still like it's not the way I necessarily talk, so it's just yeah. Okay. So, where I came from. Of course, it all started the day I was born on October 28th, 1997. My biological parents lived in the Ocala National Forest and were in active addiction and homeless during their pregnancy with me. Shortly after, my brother Wilson was born on January 2nd, 2000. I lived on the outskirts of Ocala, Florida until I was 5. During that time, we were in the midst of their partying days. My earliest memories are of the drug parties and violent rage fits between them and their friends. Both came from their own homes of abuse filled with neglect, incest, and trauma. It made sense that they only knew how to do the same for their children. My brother and I started living with our paternal grandparents in Melbourne, Florida in the early 2000s. From there, I had a sense of stability until my grandmother passed away in 2010. From that point on, Wilson and I started in and out of the foster care system, going back to our grandfather to being homeless runaways and back into group homes. My brother and I were living with our grandparents. Our dad would come in and out, stealing our Christmas presents and going weeks or months without seeing us. Our mom was having more babies that she couldn't take care of, and eventually her parental rights were terminated for all of them. She had a total of 6 kids removed from her because of her substance abuse and neglect. Luckily, they were adopted by their biological aunt and uncle. Although they experienced their own loss and family issues, they had each other and came out with a strong foundation to build on. After my grandmother died, I lost all sense of hope. I leaned on substances, sex, and anger to fuel my teenage years. Since I was brought into the world, I was sexually abused and taken advantage of by numerous individuals wherever I went. I was never safe. Not with my family, not in the system, and not when I was homeless. Even when I had options to leave, I wouldn't because I was so used to the trauma. My half-brother, who we share a father with, molested me in 2009 when I was 12 and he was 19. That sent me over the edge completely. I longed for a life where I was loved and respected. I wanted to see my siblings. I wanted to be a part of a family. My family. Throughout my childhood, I found a sense of safety and acceptance in the many strangers and friends that I connected with. I lived with multiple friends for months and years at a time. Their families took me in as their own. My family became my friends. They were the ones who checked my head for lice and made sandwiches when I was homeless. I keep in contact with the ones who helped care for me and have gotten to share my success with them. I have been involved in my younger siblings' life for 9 years now, and I have a close relationship with all of them. I am the oldest sibling out of 11 kids, and although it wasn't the traditional big sister role, I have always taken this role very seriously. I had the privilege to be a part of many different cultures and backgrounds. I saw how my best friend Casey celebrated her holidays at her aunt's house. I saw my other best friend Sammy got home-cooked dinner and cake for her birthday. I saw many beautiful families that showed up for one another, and of course, I saw many families as lost and broken as mine was. When I was 17, I got into legal trouble that changed my life. I was facing multiple felonies, all from a night I barely remembered from a bad acid trip. At my trial, I had people who advocated for me to get treatment for my trauma, which led me to be in the juvenile detention center in a juvenile program for 9 months. This is where I had access to the routine and structure I desperately needed as a kid, and I thrived. Everything changed for me, and I realized I had the power to choose where I wanted to be and who I wanted to have around me. Now, my immediate family is my son and our animals. His dad and I separated almost 2 years ago, and we co-parent very well and still have holidays and birthdays together. I see my siblings in Ocala consistently and my friends in Melbourne as much as I can. We celebrate each other's wins and listen when we need each other. It's never perfect, but we give one another space to feel and work on things. Not only do we love, but we show respect and don't cross boundaries. This past year, I realized I will always struggle with certain parts of my past and feel the loss of not having parents. But I found Christ without being tied to religion, and I used my studies to help me grow intentionally. I am a very authentic person who has had the privilege of being raised by the many beautiful souls who took the time to love me just as I am at all stages of my life. How it affects me now. Where I came from has been the fuel that drives me personally and professionally. I have been blessed with the voice to advocate and the ability to relate to so many different individuals. In my biological family, lying low and not speaking up was normal. I was taught to be quiet and let anyone do what they wanted to me, mentally, physically, and sexually. It happened to both my parents, who unfortunately chose to pass that down to me. The difference is I chose to break that generational trauma. It influences me every day to be intentional and lead with love. For myself, the role gender played was that I had power and what I had to offer sexually. I used it to get what I wanted when I was a teenager, and I felt it was all I had to offer as a female. With a lot of therapy and love, I realized I had much more to offer. When I became a mom and was a stay-at-home mom for 2 years, I still struggled with my role as a female. I felt weak and like I did not have much to offer. In finding my independence and being single for over a year now, I realized how strong and meaningful it was to have the opportunity to be home with my son. I have found my strength as a woman and know that what I bring to the table is enough, and I am enough. I used to think my past experiences shaped me into all the worst things possible. I had a lot of hate in my heart that I used to hurt others. I still struggle knowing the things that my parents did and people they hurt. As I continue to strengthen my relationship with Christ, I know that it is not mine to carry. And even the parts that are mine to carry, I don't have to do it alone. My past experiences have helped me understand who I am, and most importantly, who I am not. I am not passing the trauma along to my children. I am no better or worse than my parents. I only choose differently. We don't get to pick where we come from, but we get to pick who we want to be. I choose to be kind, lead with love, and help others. Even when it's hard and I'm exhausted, my God has sent me the people, resources, and love I didn't get from my family. I have created my own family and paved my own way. I use these experiences to help others by starting my career as a peer support specialist, and I am certified by the Florida Certification Board. I started a podcast I named Faith Unfiltered and Resilient. I started a new job as a care coordinator in January, being the lead primary in supporting families with neurodivergent individuals in their homes. With this next chapter unfolding, I am still learning how to balance my work, home, and school life, and I have not been as consistent with my podcast as I would like. Most days it's not easy, and I always feel like I'm falling short, but I know I'm not in it alone, and all my hard work is paying off. I started college in 2016, fresh out of my juvenile program where I completed my GED. Since I aged out of foster care, I was in extended foster care, and then I qualified for the Post-Secondary Education Service and Support PES program, offered in Florida for foster kids. They provided me with a monthly check to help support myself until the age of 24, food stamps and Medicaid until 26, and paid for any state college until I was 28. I turned 28 this year and have taken advantage of this opportunity. I was not always set on a social work degree. I started at Eastern Florida State College in Melbourne, Florida, where I earned my AA degree and took psychology electives. This is where I found my love for psychology, and it took me to the University of Central Florida, where I graduated with my BS degree in clinical psychology. As a UCF student, I started working as a peer support specialist and met many people who helped guide and push me professionally. I was initially going to pursue a psychology degree and become a licensed mental health counselor, but after learning about the social work degree, I felt it was a much better fit for me. I applied to FSU because of its history with social work and online classes. As much as I loved in person, I knew I had to do online because of my son. I quickly felt very at home at FSU and found a community of like-minded individuals with a passion for helping others. I had an employment-based internship during our general internships, which is how I got my current position, which I started in January. I eagerly look forward to where and who FSU continues to bring me to. Summary. As I mentioned in the beginning, I was initially bummed and overwhelmed at the thought of talking about where I came from. I immediately challenged that mindset and reminded myself that I am safe and have the support and resources to discuss where I came from. Not all days are easy, but I take it one moment at a time and choose to break the cycles I come from, not only for those around me, but for myself. I know that even though sometimes I feel lonely, I am not alone. My feelings are valid, but they are not always reality. I have created a beautiful life for myself. I can be the hope for others that change is possible. In my MSW degree, which is Masters of Social Work, I have learned that I can use these past experiences to help fuel and drive me, but I can use clinical skills to help others reach their points of recognition to initiate change in their life. I know that each day is different, and I have the love and understanding to see why my parents are the way they are, but as a daughter, I choose different, and that is okay. Reflecting on my past and writing this paper reminds me that I can experience happiness and sadness simultaneously. I know I said a bunch of words wrong, but it's okay. Done. So yeah, that did take longer than I realized, but it's okay. And I feel like that is what I needed to say this time. And just to kind of just follow up with that is that I mean, the paper speaks for itself. It is definitely not the best, okay? Like the words and certain things, and I did throw some words in there, take some words out as I was reading it. But like I just needed to turn it in. I know that's bad, but like I'm busy. I'm a mom. I work, school, everything, and I wish that it was like more thought out or more like put together better. But it's I did good for doing it in 2 days. So Literally, I didn't even touch it until Saturday, and I turned it in Sunday. So I'm getting better at my procrastination. It's definitely the way that like I work the best, but it's not the best. Like I put way too much pressure on myself. Um, but yeah, so I'm just at a spot where I'm like I've let go of the anger or the hate. I still get angry. That's gonna happen. The shit that they did was not okay. Um, excuse me. But yeah, so like I let go of the hate and I'm just choosing who I want to be. And I know that it follows along of like how Jesus was and like being kind and leading with love and treating people with respect. And that's how I want to be. And that's how I want to raise my son to be. And I fall short. I get frustrated. I get sad. But um, I know that it's going to be okay because I have faith and I believe in Jesus. And I know that I know where I'm going because I accept Jesus Christ. And I know that no matter what, I'm going to go through all these emotions down here on earth. No matter what, I'm going to feel these ways. I'm going to be sad, happy. I'm going to be resentful. I'm going to be horny. I'm going to be joyous. I'm going to have all these emotions. And I'm going to go through those whether I believe in Jesus or not. And I know that for me, Christ has given me the ability not to go through it alone. So I'm just really like holding on to that faith part of it and shedding who I was and like just having faith. And it's so weird because like it's my name, right? Like faith is my name, but it is so much more than that. And like with each chapter and with each chapter comes a new perspective and with each like shedding comes a new perspective. So it's like I feel like I repeat myself so much or go over the same thing that I've been through, but I always come out with a different kind of perspective or new questions answered or new questions that I have to ask and like I don't know, just yeah. So this is just where I'm at today. And yeah, so I'm going to wrap this one up. I hope everybody is doing well. I love you guys and miss you guys. Um thank you so much for just being here and supporting me along my way and just loving me for who I am at all stages of my life. And that's what I want to do the same for you guys. And yeah, love you guys. Bye.